Even if you have to die, says the Lord, be faithful, and I will give you the crown of life. Alleluia, Alleluia, Alleluia. The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. In his teaching, Jesus said, "Beware of the scribes who like to walk about in long robes and be greeted obsequiously in the market squares, to take the front seats in the synagogues and the places of honor at banquets. These are the men who swallow the property of widows while making a show of lengthy prayers. The more severe will be the sentence they receive." He sat down opposite the treasury and watched the people putting money into the treasury. And many of the rich put in a great deal. A poor widow, however, came and put in 2 small coins, the equivalent of a penny. Then he called his disciples and said to them, "I tell you solemnly, this poor widow has put more in than all who have contributed to the treasury. For they have all put in money that they had over, but she, from the little she had, has put in everything she possessed, all she had to live on." The Gospel of the Lord. The introductory hymn that we sang together today for the Mass was "Christ has no body now but yours." Christ had a body because he came to live here on earth like us, with a body. And when he had this body, his particular attention and his soft spot, so to say, were the poor. The poor who are always with us. We know them today, but they were also in the time of Christ, and even in the Old Testament we read about the poor people. So the poor are always there. But God has a particular attention to the poor. He doesn't like suffering. He doesn't like people to be greedy and selfish, and the others who are so poor, living next to each other. And unfortunately, very often, the situation in life and in the world is this. We have so many people, so many children dying of hunger and thirst or of sickness in the world today, when there is 1/4 of the population, when there is 1/4 of the population in the West, we are lucky to live in this 1/4 of the world, are living comfortably, not to say more than that, comfortably. But God is asking us today and reminding us that we should be sensitive to the needs of others. In any way we feel we can do it, but we should never close our eyes or our ears to the laments and the cries of these people, because they are part of humanity and they are particularly loved by God. And if we are close to them, and we have to be close to them, because now Christ has no body. Christ left us with this mission. He said, "Now I am going." But we sang, "Christ had no body but yours." We are his eyes, we are his ears, we are his hands, and we are his feet. What we can do with these members of our body to the poor is exactly what Jesus used to do when he was present with his body with us here on earth. And that's what we should do. To be honest and faithful disciples of Christ. Christ wants us to be like him. And we strive, we strive to do. Sometimes we say, but what can we do more? I admit that it's a problem sometimes. What can I do more? But the opportunities in life face us so often to love, to be compassionate, to be generous. These are three elements of our life to help us become Christ-like, to help us live like Christ, to help us live like Christ here on earth. So we should not miss these opportunities when we are faced with them. When God presents us with an opportunity of being compassionate, of being loving, of being forgiving, we should grab that and thank God for the opportunity that He has given us to be like Him. Because this is what God wants us to do. When He presents to us an experience like this of help, of compassion, or of love, He is doing this so that we become like Him. So that we become like Him, because that's what our aim in this life has to be. And then there is another consideration. Sometimes we say, but does it pay that we help the poor? We boast so often of the economy, of so many good things that there are. Talking of here in Malta, how well we live. Thank God for that. But we should not forget that there are so many people who are not making ends meet. I know because I meet them every single day. So there are people who are not making ends meet at the end of the day. So there is a problem, and even in our own small society and this small island of Malta. Even if there is one person who is feeling this big gap, we should be worried. And I can assure you there are more than one, more than 100, more than 1,000. There are a few thousands who are not making ends meet at the end of the day, each day. And the children of these families are suffering. And then another consideration that we should take. It pays as human beings when we live like Christ. There is someone who wrote this, and I picked it up. I want to see it on the screen so that you will remember it. If you want to be happy for an hour, take a nap. I do it every day. Take a nap, you'll be happy. Afterwards, you get up refreshed and you start the day again. If you want to be happy for a day, take a long walk. It's good. Physical exercise. I take a swim. But that you feel good when you have a swim. If you want to be happy for a month, take a long vacation. Whenever you are tired and you can make it anymore, and you are stressed, and you are... Take a vacation. Leave everything. Leave your work and take a vacation. And you will feel good. But then, if you want to be happy for life, serve others. And I know this. I am happy for life because I try to serve. This is not to boast of it, but to give an example to each other. But we should try these little things, these little tips of good living. We should remember them for this life, and then of course for the glory of God. Let's say this prayer. Dear God, I am scared. It is hard to trust that my poverty is your abundance. It is hard to believe that I will not be left empty, helpless, vulnerable, and impoverished. I do not want to let go and ride the high slide of life and love. My intellect tells me that you are not just waiting at the bottom, you are riding with me. But my innards quake with fear, so I give you that poverty, the poorness of my faith, the last smidgen of fear. Take it, my God, and replace it with courageous trust. Let me know in my heart that the jar of my faith and the jug of my hope will never run dry. Will you please stand up?